Here we are, Real Recovery Talk. I am your host, Tom Conrad. In today's episode, we've got Benjamin B.
What's happening, everyone?
And we also have a young man by the name of Seth.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Hey, guys. You have a very deep voice for being such a young lad.
Yeah?
Yeah. First things first, thank you for tuning in on the podcast app, whichever one that you choose to use. And thank you for watching on YouTube. In the end, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you could always reach us, info@realrecoverytalk.com. Again, that's info@realrecoverytalk.com. And ultimately, we want to help you turn your mess into your message. Right, Ben?
Yes, sirree, Tom. Switching it up.
Yeah. How you doing, Seth?
I'm doing real well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
So, Seth, I don't know. Is there anything out of bounds? Anything that we can't talk about? I probably should have asked you this before we hit record.
No, we're all good. Open book.
All right. So, safe to say that Seth is currently a client with us. And I'll tell you, and I even mentioned this yesterday, you know, in the yearbook, how they always had like I don't know what they're called, but like most likely to succeed, most likely to not succeed. I never saw that one in the yearbook, but like, you know, most improved. You know what I'm talking about, Ben?
Class clown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth would be in probably one of the most improved, I would say.
I would definitely say that. It's very common though for like people to turn a corner real fast. Like all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's some events that transpired that maybe we'll bring up here, or that like he went from, we'll get into it, but like he was going to make some real bad decisions. And then he's like, I'll think about it. And then he made good decisions.
Yeah, I want to get into that. But before we get there, Seth, tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, where you're born, where you're from, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, so my name is Seth Ewing. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. I am currently 22 years old. I'm about to turn 23 here in January.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
I am a Cowboys fan.
They play Miami on Monday.
Yeah, we're going to smack you guys.
It's not you guys. I'm not a Miami fan. That's Ben.
Yeah.
But I'm a Steeler fan, so not
really talk.
Yeah, not at all. We're awful. Anyways, go ahead.
No, I feel like normal guy. You know, 22-year-old. I have a really good head on my shoulders, I feel like. I really enjoy lifting. Yeah, it's really.
Okay. All right.
I like to pick stuff up and put it back down.
All right. So, hope you enjoyed this episode of. Now, tell us a little bit about your drug addiction, stuff like that, your upbringing with your family. Was drug addiction something that you were around a lot, or or you like the black sheep of the family? What was that like?
Yeah, definitely the black sheep of the family. So, no one in my family, I mean, they're normies, right? They drank here and there. No one else really had any problem. I did have a cousin who was a heroin addict.
Okay. In
Baltimore, Maryland, where my mom was from. And he's currently 20 plus years sober, runs his own meetings, chairs his own meetings over there. But growing up, I mean, great family. I have my older sister. We had 2 Siberian Huskies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Those are cool dogs.
Really cool dogs, yeah. Grew up great. I mean, mom was a stay-at-home mom. Dad worked, was able to provide for us. I mean, they say there's no ideal childhood, but I feel like I really had an ideal childhood.
Yeah. Did you were heavily involved in sports, or?
Heavily involved in sports. Played basketball, football, soccer, baseball. And then, you know, whenever I got older, really kind of narrowed it down to football.
Yeah. And did you play all through high school?
I did play all through high school, yeah. I was fortunate enough, I actually received 4 D2 offers by the end of my senior year.
Yeah, just to throw it out there, Seth is kind of like a specimen. He looks like a football player. Like, you could tell. I'll be straight up. A lot of people sit on the podcast and they're like, sports was a part of my story. But like, looking at him, you could tell sports was definitely a part of your story.
Is your dad like a big guy?
No, not really. He's about my height. He used to be like really big into lifting and stuff, but
I mean, you have genetics on your side if you haven't noticed.
yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Is your sister into sports?
Yeah. She big into soccer, and she played women's lacrosse in high school, and she went to college at Texas A&M and was on the women's lacrosse team there.
Nice. So when did you start dabbling in drugs? Like, what was that like?
I mean, started smoking weed. Smoked weed like once or twice, 16 years old. Went in senior year, like going into my senior year of high school. Really started smoking a good amount of weed. Football season came, stopped it. But we would always drink and like party throughout that summer. And then that cocaine got a little bit involved in there. Some friends brought that around. Hung off doing it for like 3 months. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. Then eventually ended up trying it, really liking it.
What'd that do to your sports? Anything or?
No. I was able to keep that under control and be like we got it for like special occasions. Homecoming, prom, big party like once a month. Special occasions.
Yeah, cocaine, that was like the sophisticated drug, you know?
Yes, sir.
But cocaine really isn't your drug of choice, right?
Not at all. Yeah. I went from drinking, doing a little bit of cocaine, to fentanyl.
You just went straight to fentanyl.
Straight to fentanyl. It's really
How does that happen?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like no pain pills, no.
No. So I mean, I dabbled in Xanax for a little bit.
Well, again, complete opposite spectrum, but
It's a really messed up story on how I started doing fentanyl.
well, we got time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so I was looking for some Xanax. I was back home from college for a little bit. Didn't have my normal plugs, so didn't have like access to everything. So I was texting around for some people. I got someone who's like, this guy might have some pills. And I remember seeing on a story, he was, I have the best oxys.
On a story?
A Snapchat story.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, that's how.
Is that like a thing?
That's a huge thing.
Okay.
It went from like used to be able to buy drugs. It was like text message. Then it went to Snapchat. Now it's Instagram, Telegram, Signal, like hiding messages apps. Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's how they like market to their customers of what they have, and it's like protected under like certain walls. Now, it's scary.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. Good old days of going to the corner, man.
Yeah. No kidding.
Dude.
Yeah.
Been out of the game for a while.
Yeah. So I hit him up. I was like, yo, do you still have these oxys? He goes, yeah, dude, I got the best in town. I was like, cool. He goes, yeah, come pick me up. We'll go get them. So I pick him up. I was going to buy 50 of them. He gave me a really good deal. And I don't know anything about like drugs at this point, right? I've dabbled here and there, but I've never really done anything.
And so you're just going to go buy 50 oxys.
Yeah. Great price.
Okay.
And I was going to be like, oh, I can have these for the longest time ever. I was like, I will literally never run out. So I got 50 of them.
Ben's like, I'd use those in a day.
Yeah, I'm like panicked if I'm down to 50. I digress.
Anyways.
Yeah. So pick them up. I pick them up downtown Austin. We go east side. Now, before the east side of Austin kind of got rebuilt, it's nice now. It used to be pretty ghetto like 2-3 years ago. Pull up to this cartel member's house. Again, I don't know anything about this, right? This first time really doing like this big of a drug deal to spending this much on drugs. Pull up. He comes outside with a suppressed submachine gun and points it right at my truck.
The guy that drove you there?
No.
Oh,
the guy that we're
member.
buying from.
Oh, my God.
I started freaking out because I didn't know what was going on. The guy hops out of my car, starts laughing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm freaking out, getting ready to drive off. Then he daps him up. And then he was like, he gives him the gun. He's like looking at the gun. Brings out the pills. We pull off to a gas station. This guy, he got 10 for free for bringing the deal to this guy. He does 2 right away. This guy's been in active addiction. I figured that out later. He cuts off a fourth of the pill, crushes it up. He goes, dude, you got to be careful. These are really strong. Again, don't know anything about it. Snorted it. And he goes, yeah, these are fent.
Yeah, boy.
So he didn't tell me they were fentanyl before I bought them.
Wow. So that was your first introduction to it.
Yeah.
And how long did you use them for there on after?
So I didn't dive straight into it. I didn't like them too much because they were insanely strong. You know, you go from not doing any opioids at all to doing the strongest opioid out there.
Right.
You know, didn't like it too much. But then I did it, and I ended up overdosing later, like a month or two later, because I had them for the longest period of time. I doing them here and there. And then I stopped doing them then, and they got brought up to me like 4 or 5 months later when I was back at college. Someone had them. And it was crazy. I had to see how, like, I can look back at it now and notice it was my addiction, but immediately nothing bad happened. Like, he was like, oh, I got these blues. Nothing, no bad memories came up. It was always like, dude, remember how great they were? Remember how good they made you feel? And I ended up just going straight back to it. So
what happened with that first overdose? Go to the hospital?
No. My buddy found me, pulled me out of the bathroom, and I woke up right when the EMT arrived. So when the ambulance came through my front door, and they checked my heart and stuff, and they were going to take me, and my parents were like, no, we'll take him. And then they figured out what it was, and they're like, oh, you're fine now. Like, they just stayed the night at the house.
Mm-hmm. Your parents were there?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, put them through a good amount.
Yeah. So the when you went back to college and you started doing them, is that when things really started to?
Yeah, that's when things really started to kick up. So my next door neighbor was this like 50-year-old black man, really cool guy, and we used to buy like a little bit of coke off of him, and my buddies would buy weed. And he calls me out to his truck one day, and he shows me a picture of these blue Perk 30s, the M boxes. And he goes, you know anything about them? And I was like, yeah, you got to be careful. A lot of them are fake nowadays, and they can be really strong. And he goes, okay, well, I'm getting like 100 of them right now just to test them out. And later that night, he calls me back out to his truck and gives me 10 free ones. And he goes, yo, pass me out to your buddies. Let me know how you guys like them. And then he was buying thousands. And it was right next door to me. I could literally just go out my front door, walk to the right, and pick them up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough of the war stories. Let's get to the recovery part. When did you go ahead?
What events led up to you going to treatment and all that? Because I know this wasn't your first.
No, yeah, this is my second time in treatment. So, I got really into it before the first time I went to treatment back in January. I got really into it, ended up quitting myself, detoxed myself before I went home for Christmas break, and I was like, that's it, I'm done with them. Detoxed it, and then when I went back to college, this girl I was messing with, she was still doing them. So she came over, she brought one, crushed it up, snorted it, overdosed again. And so in this last overdose that I had, my parents pulled me out from college, sent me out to rehab.
And what was that experience like the first time you went? Did you want to be there, or was it like, oh, my parents are forcing me?
It's like a yes and no. Like, I didn't think I needed it because of the fact that I've detoxed it myself. And I was like, oh, I don't think I need this. And I went there. I bought into it, but I didn't do everything they told me to do. I didn't obtain a sponsor. I didn't do any steps. I was in PHP for like a week. And then I went back home.
You left AMA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the place was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did music therapy and watched movies for our recovery.
Yeah, that's good. Was this in Texas?
This was in Florida.
All right. Well, don't say the name.
No, I didn't think so.
However,
after.
I would like you to tell them how you found us, because we have a common friend, so to speak.
Yeah. So at my detox was great. Yeah, I went to detox in January at We Level Up here in Florida.
Yeah.
And good friend Ben Harrison.
Okay. I'm like, I was trying to remember who. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we kept in touch, and me and Ben Harrison, I talked to him. I had a lot of problems, helped me work through it and stuff. And I kind of let him know what was going on, and he was like, "Sounds like you need to go back to treatment."
So, just for recollection for our listeners, Ben Harrison, he is one of our group facilitators here at Rock. He has 21 years of sobriety?
Yeah,
23, something like that.
Yeah.
He's got a lot.
Yeah. Very, very, very good facilitator. And
Extremely.
he's been on the podcast twice. I believe twice.
Twice, yeah.
And they were pretty recent, within the last year, both times. But yeah, he's a solid dude. So I'm not surprised that a guy like Ben Harrison got his claws into a thick-headed dude like you.
Oh yeah, we butted heads a lot at first, but like I don't know, we clicked right off the bat, so it was nice. It was real good.
Well, you like to talk back, and he'll give it right back to you.
Exactly.
So it's I can see that. Yeah.
So you obviously didn't finish college yet, anyway.
Yeah.
I remember when you first got to us, it was kind of I didn't know what to think of you to begin with. I thought you obviously had potential, which I think everybody has potential. It's just a matter of if they think they have potential, really. But nothing out of the ordinary that I expect out of a 21. How old are you?
22.
22-year-old young man, that's big into lifting, like, just guy, like it's kind of to be expected to a certain degree to have some level of pushback, And I think you were showing that in the beginning, but not because it in a malicious way, but just because you're bullheaded.
Yeah.
As a lot of us are.
Confident.
I got a little bit of a problem with authority. I don't like, I'm at that age. I don't like people telling me what to do.
Yeah. But something changed.
Yeah.
What was that? And I don't know.
Yeah. Let's, if you don't mind, I'll let you explain, but there's some things I would like to kind of put the timeline in order. So my perception of him coming here, at first, I don't know that you thought you were the way I interpreted it. You're like, overdose and not a big deal. I don't really have a problem. I just overdose. Like, did I interpret that right? You were minimizing it, so to speak?
I minimize it a lot. 100%, yeah.
And you also, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, had the intention of when I get out of here, I'm at least going to drink.
Yeah.
So that was accurate.
I do remember you saying that, yeah.
And that's something we run into all the time. With you got a young, 22-year-old guy, like he just turned 21, just turned legal drinking. It's not as if you probably haven't been drinking since you're like 15, but like most of us, But so it's not like we're really missing out. But it is hard for young guys and girls to grasp onto this idea, like, hey, I can't enjoy this. Go to the bar with my friends, and it's part of the culture growing up in the U.S., I feel like.
100%.
And you feel like you're missing out?
It's weird because at that time when I first came here, I was worried about it. But I look back at it now, it's like I went to college for 4 years. I had my party time. I had my time to go out and mingle. It's now I view it as where it's it's time to really just get serious and work on my career.
So here's the other thing. And I like giving insight to people's journey through the treatment process, because we talk about it all the time on the podcast where we're like, not every client shows up here in the same spot. Some people are like, oh my God, I'm doing this. Some people are like, I want nothing to do with this. I'm only here because of mom and dad. Some people are in the middle. They waver back and forth. They're kind of undecided, and then they jump. Yeah. But looking back, I do want to say at some point you made a change, but one of the things that you and I talked about a lot for the first few weeks was Seth is one of those guys you have to tell him to slow down. There's two parties here. You got the people that come in here and they're just lazy, and you got to get them motivated to do life. And you got the people on the other, that's one extreme. You got the other extreme, you got your Seths that are like, I got to go out and be a millionaire and conquer the world today. I got stuff to do, right? And you got to tell them to take their foot off the gas pedal. And that was a lot of the talks that I had with Seth. Like, dude, you need to slow down. The old cliche, focus on your recovery first. Everything will come. I wish you a slow recovery. After us talking so many times about those points, what was your take on it then? What's your take on it now?
So I can really look back on it, and that's always how I did it. Foot was on the gas, never came off. So I look back on it, I would go through these spurts, these 2-3 months, where it was grind, and then it was a hard fall off. And then that's when a relapse would happen, or then I would do something bad, and then I have to climb my way back up. Where I can look back at it now, where it's just like when I have that foot off the gas just for a little bit and have that extra time to myself and don't go hard 24/7, I'm able to sustain like where I'm at, like my happiness and like what I have, like working on my goals, like so much better.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was cool hearing that come out of your mouth.
Well, and that's, I mean, let's call it what it is. That's been something that you've established over a relatively short period of time.
100%.
What do you think made you come to that realization?
It's weird. Because like when I first started this, I remember getting so upset because everyone was telling me like how good I was doing. And I was like, I can't see it. So that what was like really hurting me. I was like, I'm not doing enough. I can't see any changes. And then it was like when the changes finally started to come around, I was like, maybe I am doing something right. Maybe it just takes a little bit more time. Then it just slowly keeps going, snowball effects. So I can really understand it.
I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, you too. I feel like a pivotal moment for you was when you met Billy, or you heard Billy. When you heard, I think the first time that you heard Billy was at family weekend.
Yeah, my first family weekend,
and I feel like that resonated with you.
It did extremely.
Let's tell who Billy is for our listeners.
Yeah, Billy Gagliardo episode. I don't know. Just type in Billy Gagliardo. He was on. Oh God, I don't know, Ben. Maybe you can look it up.
Probably 6 months ago, he was on an
I'll
episode.
look it up.
He is my bodybuilding coach. He's also. I'm so bad with this. He's 6 or 7 years sober. He just
7.
Celebrated this month.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
I think December 10th was his sobriety date. But he was at family weekend sharing his experience. He's an alumni of Rock from when Rock first opened. So he came in, but like imagine you got Seth, who's obviously we've already established like an athlete, well-built guy, loves lifting weights, and Billy being a bodybuilding coach. He's the general manager for Blackstone Labs, the supplement company, like he's doing very well for himself financially. He has a little girl that he's an amazing father. Like he has all this going, but he's still like a man's man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so we brought up family weekend. When Billy came in to share his experience, like what was it that you took from it? What resonated with you? What did you hear?
Pause. Hang on. Episode 249.
Episode 249 was Billy.
It's been a while. January of this year.
Oh, so it was a year ago.
A year ago. Close to.
We got to get him back on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of scared to talk to Billy. Anyways, I digress.
Because he doesn't stick to the diet plan.
Oh,
I know. It's bad. I feel... Anyways.
What resonated with you,
He's not the only one that I've quit on.
So, I mean... just his presence alone. He walks in a room, you see him, you're like, wow. And then you hear what he had to go through and to remain sobriety and the life that he's built. Just him alone, like seeing his presence was like, when someone walks in that room and you're like, wow, like who's that? And they're like, oh, he's a speaker. And he comes in and he shares a story of how bad it really got. And being able to have that, like finally a defining moment in his life to turn it around. And the career he's made for himself, things he's done for himself, and then have that happy family, then have what happened to him and his wife pass away, and then remain sobriety through that time. Because you really look at it, that's the perfect excuse to go back out. Mm-hmm. To have sobriety that strong, have recovery so strong, with everything else that he has, it's like an idol. It really is to like have something like that.
Yeah, since you brought it up, for anyone that didn't listen to Billy's episode, his wife tragically lost her life this year in a car accident, and yeah, that was just out of nowhere. And Billy shared at family weekend 6 months after that, 7, 8 months after that, and So that was all still fresh, and he stayed sober, and he talked about that on the podcast as well.
What you said there, the most, the perfect excuse to use, that's couldn't be more true, really. I mean, most people don't go through that until they have, well, I mean, I don't know. You can't really give a timeline on that. Nobody knows when they're going to go through some sort of tragedy, but that's what we always tell people to prepare for, because it's going to happen at some point, and that I can't think of anything worse,
To quote Billy as closely as I can, he said along the lines of, if I did pick up and got high again at this time, no one would look down on me for doing so because of the circumstances.
Right. Yeah.
I remember him saying
which
that.
is true. If you really think about it, nobody, well, first off, let me say this. I don't think anybody looks down on somebody, at least people inside the program.
Correct.
Are people that don't understand and they don't know, they're not in the program. They will, when somebody relapses just out of whatever, they just relapse, people in the outside world will look at that and be like, oh, loser, something along those lines. But people inside the program, what's the saying, Ben? We don't
shoot our wounded.
We don't shoot our wounded, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, what he went through was crazy. I mean, I get chills thinking about it even today. So you met him. Go ahead. You have something?
No, I was just going to say, like, going back to what you were saying, his presence, and he's an example of what sobriety can and should be. And I always bring it back to this. I've said it a million times on the podcast. He makes sobriety look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your guys' visions, your visions align. Like, obviously there's external things that you relate to with him. Both big into fitness, both into lifting weights, and that's one of the things that I think it deserves to spend a minute on. A lot of times in this whole recovery thing, people look at all the inward stuff. They look at, okay, the emotions, you have to be, or recovery is all about like mental health and feeling good emotionally and being okay with yourself and, being able to sit alone and all these things. And I agree 100%. But if you just look at this example, somebody like Seth, 22 years old, who arguably was bucking the system somewhat, kind of not outright like, oh, I'm not going to group, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, but just like would challenge things, which I think is good, to a certain degree. It took somebody like Billy and what I think to be more the external, I'm just going to call it what it is. I think Billy walks into the room. You find out Billy's a speaker. You see Billy. He represents who you are or want to be, or, so a lot of the external stuff was probably what's most appealing at first. And then Billy starts speaking, and now the internal stuff starts to resonate with you, and you're like, okay, not only does he look the part, he looks like somebody that I would want to reflect, but he also mentally and emotionally sounds good, And this is going to sound weird, but isn't that how it is when you get into any sort of relationship on even with a female, You're always attracted to them physically first. And then what's going to happen is when they open their mouth is going to determine if you pursue that.
100%. I can see where you're going with that, but that was an interesting comparison.
I'm not throwing stones at girls. I'm just saying, but it's the physical attraction first, and then everything else kind of, hopefully falls in line. And in this case, it did. It's a perfect marriage, obviously being facetious there, but it's worked. And I saw a change in you when that happened. And so it just proves the point of you don't know who you're going to meet, what you're going to hear, those sorts of things.
I think from my perspective, what it is with Billy and Seth is like, initially, yes, it's the physical like you're talking about, but going back just to reiterate, like because if I recall, my version of Seth was like, my recovery is the gym and the gym only. Like that was my perception. Like I'm going to lift my way to recovery, which I know that can't be. And it took a guy like Billy speaking and talking about the program that he works, going to meetings, sponsoring guys, having a sponsor, all that stuff where maybe it clicked for you like, hey, he does the gym, but he also does all this stuff. And that's where I think a lot of this gets misconstrued, because I'll be straight up, we do have clients here where I tell them, and everyone knows I'm all about working out, but if all you're doing is working out, that's a problem. Yeah. Now, if you're working out, but you're also doing this other stuff for your mental health, the emotional stuff that you mentioned, I'm very much in a place where you have to encompass it all.
Yeah.
You have to bring it all together.
I think the gym really enhances your recovery, because I truly do believe a strong body equals a strong mind. Where you feel good physically, you're going to end up feeling good mentally. And you work out on both at the same time, the gym's going to enhance your recovery and your mental health.
Couldn't agree more.
I agree with that, yeah. Well, and a lot of times you see people that, I mean, there's plenty of studies to back it that, exercise, fitness, lifting weights, strength training is the number one form of antidepressant that you can get. There's multiple studies that prove physical exercise helps with depression and anxiety, Yeah. And that just in and of itself is, because a lot of times addiction is rooted in some sort of mental health issue, whether it's depression, anxiety, a personality disorder, whatever the case is. Drugs and alcohol are a symptom of something, generally a mental health disorder of some capacity. And so exercise I agree, enhances it, but you do see people that take it to the absolute extreme, and then it becomes their God. It becomes their idol. And they put themselves in a position of, God forbid something happens and you can't work out. What do you do? And let me just ask you, Seth, if something were to happen tomorrow, God forbid, knock on wood, this doesn't, but you get hit by a car and break both your legs and you can't go to the gym, how do you think you would feel?
I'd definitely I would feel sorry for myself, 100%. Knowing me, who I am, even though I don't like to feel that way, I wouldn't like to admit that, I would feel sorry for myself because I wouldn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I do focus on the gym a lot, and that is a huge part of my recovery. It's a huge part of who I am, really. But to have the tools that I know now, like, it sounds weird to me saying this, but like, I would have to really dive in and talk about it and really make a plan with someone else. I have to find someone to help me figure out what I could do and what are my options here.
Yeah.
Nicole would be so proud of you
right
now.
Yeah, she'd be crying right now.
His therapist.
Well, and that's just growth. It shows growth. If I asked you that question 6 months ago, you'd probably say, well, that's not going to happen. That's not me. I'm not.
I would have told you I'd go to the gym and hit upper body only. That would have been my answer.
I was going to sarcastically say be in a wheelchair doing curls.
Exactly.
So, and that goes back, like, one of the things I think this is a good time to talk about this too, and this is the pot calling the kettle black. So Hazelden coined the term king baby. And I literally told Seth, I'm like, dude, you're a king baby. He's like, what's that? I'm like, don't worry, I'm one too. Like, that's what my therapist called me. But it's the I want what I want when I want it, and I want that now. Yep. Like, and it's a kind of personality thing that needs to be worked on when people are in treatment. But that's very much how Seth was. I think he's definitely made improvement. I mean, we all stay that way some. But like you were saying, he would buck the system a little bit, try to figure out how do I get out of group a little early? How do I, but I really do think that that's something you've been working on.
Oh, I remember you wanted to get out of the family weekend.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had
you
a legitimate reason for that. I
But
still believe
isn't that when you met Billy?
Yeah. Everything did end up working out, but I wanted to leave family weekend early to meet with my sponsor and go over step work.
You didn't have a sponsor
I
then.
did. That's when I had.
Don't say their name. But you had somebody that wasn't Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, look at that. You met Billy.
Yeah.
I want to bring one other one up too. All right. So earlier, and this is funny. I won't give exact details on this.
Okay.
But I'll give a roundabout synopsis. So I was talking when we very first started the episode, like how I think the old Seth would come in here and just do what Seth wanted.
100%.
Point blank, period. But then Seth grew into a spot where he'd like literally run stuff by me like, hey, man, this is what's going on, and this is what I'm going to do. He'd kind of tell me what he was going to do, but in a way I felt like he was asking for permission at the same time, like in a cocky way.
Yeah.
But he had this plan. The generic version is to go down to Miami to just sober, hang out for the weekend, maybe say hello to some females or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, please don't do that. And I literally looked at him. I said, you're an IOP now. Like, you can do what you want. Like, I can't stop you. If you go down there, like, we're going to end up talking about it and whatnot. But the end of the conversation, because it was like a 45-minute conversation.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
definitely monopolized my time that day. And I don't mind giving it. But at the end of the conversation, you're like, Ben, I'll think about it. And then you ended up not going. You made the decision on your own. I didn't tell you what to do because I knew you didn't like authority. And if I sat there and said, the rules say you can't go, which is what I wanted to do, I was like, you know what? Let me leave it up to him. And you ended up making the right decision, dude.
I did. Yeah. It's unfortunate they rented a boat and everything for that weekend too. It would have been a good time. But, focusing on myself at the moment was definitely the smarter option.
100%. That was one of my proudest moments for you through the whole thing.
That was a huge defining moment. That's what really rounded the curve. I feel like.
Tell us a little bit about how you wanted to leave early. Or not early, but you had this mindset of 30 days and then...
So it was 60 days I committed to.
Oh, that's right.
Nicole talks me into 60 days. Because I was 30 days. I was like, man, I'm only here for 30 days. She's like, 60.
She talk you into it, or should she just give you that look?
She gave me that look. She was like 60. And I was like, okay. And she was like 90. I was like, all right, you're pushing it. Now I'm here. I'm almost at 90 days now, and I'm doing 120. But
because you want to.
Because I want to.
Listen to that. We talk about that. This is proof in the pudding. We say it, and this goes back to clients' willingness to come. I always tell people on the phone up front, if you don't plan on coming for 30 days, don't bother. We're not miracle workers. You can't come here. It takes us 3 weeks to get to know you.
Yeah.
But I will lock somebody in at 30 days knowing that our team, Nicole, can play a part in getting a client to where they're on their own wanting to stay longer.
100%.
And I say it all the time, 95% of the time, our clients that say they're coming for 30 days end up staying for 120, and then we have to literally tell them no, you have to leave now.
Yeah.
It's happens all the time because you start to see the value and see the change in it. It's not a sentence anymore where you're counting days.
So do you feel like overall your experience has been good and things are starting to change for you? I know you said that you plan on staying in Florida now.
Yeah. Yeah. Things have been outstanding, and if it's good, why change it?
Right.
The community that I've built down here at Rock Recovery Center as well as at my job, I mean, that's extremely hard to find. And how lucky I am to find it in this short period of time that I've been down here. It's only going to help me excel further.
I want you to talk about your job. Let me say this. Again, going back to Seth is the guy you have to tell him to take his foot off the gas pedal. Most clients here, I got to tell them, and our team has to tell them, go get a job, start living life. I actually told Seth the opposite. I said, no, dude, I don't want you going and getting a job. He's like, why not? I'm like, dude, just not you. Like, it's individualized. He waited, and I think a really good job opportunity. How did that job opportunity happen? What's that looking like? How has that changed your trajectory?
Yeah.
Because I think it's been really good.
It has been very good. So I was originally going to work with one of our former clients doing car detailing.
Oh God.
Yeah, right. That was my original plan.
That is like the worst plan. I know what you're referring to, and I'm just like, oh, dude.
Nicole immediately shot that down. She's like, no, definitely not. Definitely not. And, the gym membership we have is a busybody. So I went over there. I was inquiring about a job over there. I was like, I like going to the gym. Easy, perfect. Talked to Nicole about it. And then she called her personal trainer over at a different crunch, who talked to the head personal trainer at the crunch that I work at Palm Beach Gardens. Henry, who's the personal training manager, called me in. We had an amazing interview. We talked for like 2 hours. Just going in depth. Yeah.
Wow.
2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, going in depth, like what I went through, how I want to change my life, really. Everything that I've done before from my past, from football to weightlifting to training my fraternity brothers and all of that, just my experience. But I didn't have any certifications for like personal training. He goes, I can bring you on anyways, or we can put you at the front desk. You do gym sales. You go up, you move up in the company, you move over, and you learn how everything works. Because this way you could really excel further. I was like, let's go ahead and do that. They hired me on the spot. I get brought in. Now I'm doing gym sales over at Crunch. And the community over there, you look at Crunch, it's like it's a commercial gym. The community over there is insane. I'm filled with my time here. I'm filled around people that want to better themselves. Let's just call it what it is, better themselves. I go to work and I'm surrounded by people that want to better themselves. And it's nice for me because I'm not at a step in my recovery yet where I can take people through the steps. But this is a way for me to give back where I can talk someone into getting a gym membership to really help better themselves in the long run. So I feel like I'm doing some kind of work in that way as well. Like mentally, like I enjoy going to work. I get to go around, I get to talk to people what they're lifting, what they're doing all day. I get to meet new people. And again, it's the community of people going to the gym. They're there to better themselves. They're there to get better. So being surrounded by that all day, I wake up so happy every morning. I don't dread going to work. I don't dread doing the things that I have to do because I enjoy living my life.
Wow. It's pretty powerful. Ben, you know what I was thinking?
What?
This would be pretty cool. And I can probably, hopefully make this happen. Do a live call with Mind Pump. You know how they do the live callers?
Yeah.
Do a live call with Seth and me. I'll just send the email. Hey, we got this guy. He's about to make a career out of, he potentially is going to be a GM at a gym here. Like, you could share a little bit of your experience, kind of what you're going through right now, and then they'll talk to you live on air.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'll send an email to them. And
I want to throw something out there too. Just on and this has to do with our philosophy. Nicole told me how the whole crunch thing got lined up. And I'm just going to throw it out there. This is where I feel like Rock is different. Therapists and some professionals might hear this and turn in their grave right now, but I don't really care. Now, Nicole reached out to her trainer, but she didn't say your name, to the individual, the way that I understand it, but had you send the info, so she didn't violate the confidentiality stuff. But as a therapist, just being a human being and helping make that connection. A lot of therapists would be like, oh, I'm not getting involved. I can't get involved with that. It's unethical, this, that, the other. I'm calling BS on that.
Yeah.
Because this was good for his recovery, good for his journey. Like, look at where it's got him, and that's where, like, at Rock, we like to think outside the box, where we're just trying to be human beings, helping people better their lives. And sometimes I think, like, when Tom and I went to school for the addictions program, like, some of the quote-unquote boundaries are so strict that they're ridiculous, and they're actually, in my personal opinion, counterproductive to really helping people grow. And, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, your rapport that you have with Nicole as your therapist is phenomenal.
It is insanely good. I've never been one for therapy, but, like, her demeanor alone, I'm not a very trusting person. Mm-hmm. My first session with her, I trusted her immediately. And she's just built on that. And yeah, the therapists we have here are insane.
So if there are any professionals listening to the podcast, like, yes, you do have to have professional boundaries. You do have to have those. But there's also, I'll speak for myself, and I witness it among our staff all the time. Like, we also have to know when to be humans. Mm-hmm. I'm just another bozo on the bus. Tom said that to somebody yesterday, basically in a roundabout way. Like, what'd you say? We're a little further in our journey and a little bit wiser because we've been sober just a little longer. But at the end of the day, we're the same.
We put our pants on the same way, Ben.
Yeah, and it just, I just wanted to bring that up, man, because I feel like that's something, I could be wrong, like your average therapist would not do.
Oh, no, they go above and beyond here. There was a week where I was having a really bad week. I couldn't even tell you what it was about, but she noticed it earlier in the week, and then that Friday, she pulled me out of a group, and she was like, yeah, do you want to come talk to me for a second? And we had, like, this whole conversation, just went in, and just her being there, like, doing extra out of her, like, she didn't have to do that. She doesn't have to meet with me more than the time required. Right. She went above and beyond to, like, make sure to check up on me.
Yeah.
Just, like, it's from the last place that I was at to here, the amount that you guys, like, is it okay if I curse on here?
Go for it.
The amount that you guys actually give a fuck. Like, you guys really fucking care. Yeah. It's crazy. My experience here has been nothing but wonderful. Even the negatives, they're spun in a way that it's turned into a positive. And it's explained. It's not just, you're doing this because I said so. It's eventually explained, and it's eventually an understanding moment and a learning moment.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I'm going to cut that, put it on the website.
That means a lot, dude. It means a lot, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's a humanistic approach. I mean, really, we had somebody in here yesterday, a young guy, and we were talking to him, and we're not any better than you. In fact, we're the same. And that goes a long way with people. It goes a long way with young men, young women, parents, spouses, like they're, I don't know. It's just who we are. Well, listen, I think you're doing awesome. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. I'm going to work on getting you on with Mind Pump, because I think that would really help you. I really do. Hearing it from a few guys that have been there, done that, like they'll really, and they're, like I told you yesterday, they're with NCI. They're actually doing I don't know if you've heard about the 3-day training they're doing in January. We can get you signed up for that. I think it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sal's doing it. Did you hear? Huh?
Where?
It's like a webinar, 3-day webinar. Yeah. But we'll let them explain it all to you. Hopefully, if I can get you on, which I think I can. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. I mean,
they take everybody's calls.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm special, Ben, I think.
We know, Tom.
But anyways, no, Seth, I think you're crushing it, dude. Keep it up. And I'm glad to see you're working with Billy, doing steps, really. Like, this is why we do what we do. I mean, this is like, you see somebody come in 60, 90 days ago, the verdict's out on what direction this can go, but we don't give up on people. So as long as you're willing to put in some effort, and these are the results that are given.
The man you heard today, and I said man, sitting across from me, is not the boy that showed up here 90 days ago.
Yeah.
Straight up, dude. It's an honor. It's an honor to watch that process. It really is, dude. I'm proud of you, man. Big time.
I really appreciate that.
And thanks for all the plugs on Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have really nothing but good things to say about this.
So we'll go on and leave us a nice Google review.
Yeah. Well, I need to get you set up with that automation I was talking to you about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. That is it for this episode of Real Recovery Talk. Thank you for tuning in. In the end, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you could always reach us info@realrecoverytalk.com. Again, that's info@realrecoverytalk.com. And ultimately, we want to help you turn your mess into your message. That is it. We will see y'all later.